I don't know if I should actually attempt to do like a gun barrel sequence. Could I actually do one? I don't think it's possible. I'd have to really, really awkwardly walk into the frame, like... look, I'm walking into the frame. And then it would have to be like a... I don't even... Wait, I do have a gun.
Well, it's finally here, the concluding chapter of Daniel Craig's run as James Bond. No Time to Die aims to wrap up the story arcs from the previous films, whilst leaving this incarnation of Bond with a satisfying conclusion, which is two very different things. Hello everyone, welcome back to Willis Makes Movies, the channel which is anything except making movies. Today we're looking at James Bond No Time to Die. As you probably read by the title, my biggest issue with No Time to Die is the fact that James Bond as a character does not feel integral to the story. If you work backwards, knowing that James Bond is going to die at the end, when does the story appropriately set this up to make it feel satisfying? Up until the last 10 minutes, this is a very standard but complex plot to follow, with over-the-top action sequences and a plot that centres around the end of the world, with a global pandemic, but at the same time is trying to be an intimate character piece developing Bond before his demise, which can work when the tone is properly established. However, the stakes of the story are not felt, because the central conflict of the film isn't even involving Bond at all. It is entirely between the female lead Madeleine Swann and our antagonist Safin. There is a personal connection between the two that is given from the opening sequence. However, Madeleine disappears from the story so quickly that Safin has no reason to appear, and when Madeleine does appear in the story again, we only get Safin twice more, and only one of them is with her, which removes the conflict from the forefront of the plot, and instead rushes a confrontation with Bond at the end to give them some form of dynamic, this being the first time the two characters have even interacted with each other, so no development or growth is felt from this confrontation on either side, as they literally just met 10 minutes ago. It's highly debatable if Bond's involvement in this plot is necessary at all, and I don't see why he's shoved in when he has no connection to what's actually going on. His reasoning for coming out of retirement is because of a clue he finds and not a personal reason to get involved, and this leads to Bond thinking he can do better than MI6 is currently, and pokes fun at them until he's let back in, which is a comedic side plot that seems to be a statement about Bond being irreplaceable until proven otherwise, which unfortunately doesn't really happen, and this side plot with Lashana Lynch's character seems to be lost entirely, since her character's motivation to prove she is better than Bond falls largely to the wayside, and instead she becomes another sidekick to Bond's flawless character. This plotline is a comedic relief, which contrasts massively with the stakes of the story, as Safin does not do anything, and specifically nothing to Bond. All he does is threaten him and then get killed, making his character seem incredibly weak and unmotivated, and makes the actual serious plotline feel like more of a side quest to complete before you get the end cutscene. I would argue that Madeleine should have been the main character of this story. She is the reason that Safin is here, and I would allow many more scenes to flesh her in the process of having her past come back to haunt her, as both her and Safin have been through similar heartbreak. Apparently, James Bond is only in this story because he needed to die at the end, so attaching him to Madeleine allows him to share her motivation instead of developing his own. The characters do instead share a conflict about running out of time, Madeleine from her past, and James from his time to spend with his family, due to a plot that he himself pushed into, which kind of implies that he could never settle down properly anyway, but every example we are given is not directly his fault. Time is a word repeated a lot through the movie, but without any deeper entanglement into the plot. This is a great example of why themes are so important. because knowing the message of your story has a big impact on how that story plays out, and the theme of time is a very small role in this actual plot. What we do have is James and Madeline not having time to live with each other. Then we have the whole retirement thing with Bond being replaced, which is a commentary on how we need to move on and let the young folk take our place. This feels like a pointless arc in which Bond learns nothing through the course of the story except that he cannot have time with his wife and daughter, which is disappointing in my eyes when there were a lot of potential themes that could have come back from the previous films, to give this character a final act that would have completed his development across the chronology.
But hey, I'm very optimistic about the future. I'm sure that whoever leads the James Bond franchise next will have more of a direction, and it's been very fun to see these creative and inventive James Bond films that try something a little different every time they roll around, even if they probably should have had a different actor to distinguish the different tones. But hey, what we did end up with was some very entertaining movies, and this finale was not one of them. And yes, you might have noticed, you can see me. This is a bit of a major change for the channel. Previously, I've just done 100% narration, whereas now, during my little 3-month break, I've actually purchased a camera. Like a good camera, a better camera. So, you're going to be seeing a lot more of my ugly mug on the screen. Completely unscripted as well, so it's fucked. Tell me if you like it though, because I spent a lot of money on this camera and this lens. So, yes, I would like to make sure that my investment was worth it. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe for more top-notch quality content. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video, whatever the fuck it is. Fuck this shit, I'm out.